I have the best settings you're gonna wanna implement right away before you start playing. So let's go through them because I know you're just getting off of work and I know you're just getting out of school. So let's hop in and get our settings done. So we're gonna go over to controller. A couple things here I wanna point out that they reset everything back to default. So, but there's a little bit of trickiness to it. So on your horizontal stick and your vertical stick, it's not gonna be the same as it was in BO6 and it's not gonna be the same in Warzone. When you're playing it, it does feel a little bit different. So what I normally play it was a 1.6. I had to lower mine down to a 1.4. So you're gonna want a 1.4 or wherever you were before, just lower it a little bit because it does feel different in this game because the aim assist nerfs and everything like that. Then you wanna go down to controller vibration, turn that off. I don't know why they turned that on. Now your dead zones. Now this is imperative. I don't know why they do this, but they always do 15, 99, 15, 99, 13, 13. Doesn't make any sense. Obviously test your sticks for dead zone. I have TMR sticks, so I'm not gonna have that much stick drift at all. So you're gonna wanna go down, and I marked mine down all the way to 3 on the mid on the left stick, and then on your left stick max, you want it to activate very fast. So you wanna lower that down to 70 because you don't wanna have to go all the way to the left or the right to activate when you're moving in the game. Right stick min, you wanna go to 3 as well. Right stick max, just leave that alone. You don't want to touch that. Your triggers, you don't want any delay. Don't know why anybody would want a delay. You don't need a delay. So go ahead and put that down to 2. Now I put that down to 2 because I have a little bit of a sensitive triggers on mine. I don't want it to fire when I'm not ready to fire. 2 is where you want it to be. Okay, now that we got that tab done, let's go to aiming. You want to make sure that your target aim assist is on, ADS aim assist is on, and then you want to go over to movement. Now tactical sprint assist is going to be off and it's going to feel very sluggish, so make sure you turn this back to tactical sprint assist. Go more. You want 0 delay. You want sprint assist sideways on, sprint assist backwards on. You want mantle assist off. You don't want any help mantling. You want to be able to control that and do it yourself. Crouch assist off, corner slicing on. Now this is on you. If you like it, you know, keep it on. I like it on. You want your wall jump assist, you want it on. That helps to get a little bit more smoother movement. You want combat roll on to always because when you're coming off of ledges, you want to be able to roll and not take damage. So that you don't have to mess with it. I use tap to slide. I don't do a lot of diving. That's a personal preference, but I recommend tap to slide. Sprint restore on, slide maintain sprints on, parachute always, wing suit activation manual. So in this game, you're going to see a lot of the wingsuit that's going to come with the new blackout that's coming in the spring and the new Warzone experience as well. You want to do that manual. You don't want that automatic. Wall jump activation is going to stay on press. Combat roll. I like the first person. I don't like the third person. So now go to your movement advanced settings and you want to make sure that your tactical sprint activation is on single tap sprint. I've seen this change for some gamers. I don't know why. And then you want to back out and you want to go down to combat, which is over to your right here, and make sure you have your armor plates on apply all. Now in the campaign and in the game, you're going to have plates. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Then you want to go to combat advanced settings. You want to go ahead and make sure you go down to tap to reload on your interact behavior. That's going to be huge here. Mantle cancels reload. You definitely want that off because you want to be reloading. You don't want anything messing with that. Then you want to go down to weapon mount movement on and weapon mount return off. Make sure those are really good. Make sure they're dialed in right there. Now you want to over the graphics. You're going to go over to view. Your field of view out of the box is going to come at 90. You don't want it at 90. It's going to feel sluggish. You're going to want it for multiplayer. You're going to want it at a good 110, 105 right there. Make sure you change that. Now in the campaign, you can run 120. Makes you feel a little bit more fluid, a little bit fast movement. They're going to put world motion blur is going to be on, and so is your weapon motion blur. Turn those off. You don't want those on at all. First moving camera is 50%, and so is the third person camera because you can choose third person perspective in the game. I make sure those are off because that drives me a little bit crazy. Then you want to go into your display. Make sure you have obviously your monitor, you have your everything else selected here. But game brightness, I turn mine up to 55. I want to make sure it's a little bit more bright for me to see. NVIDIA Reflex low latency on plus boost. I even have a 5090 I'm doing on plus boost. So everybody should be doing that. You don't need any efficiency mode. Nobody cares about that. Custom frame rates, those are fine. Optimal, keep all this stuff the same. You don't really need to change any of this stuff. Gonna hit apply. Perfect. Now on your quality, I was playing the campaign at extreme. You don't need to do that. what I would do is you want to go in and do, I do like a custom. So I go into my upscaling, and this is where console comes into play too. And you want to do Fidelity FX Cast. That gets the best render. And then you want to go ahead and get detailed. So I can bump that up to 90. Do what's right for your console or for your PC and what it can handle, but I think 90 is going to be the best spot for you. It really details out everything. You don't need any of this ray tracing and all that kind of stuff unless you're just playing the campaign and you want to turn it on for the campaign. It looks great in the campaign. It doesn't need any of this stuff for multiplayer or anything like that. Variable rate shading, variable rate shading, put that on. And then texture resolution. Now I want my game to look really sharp. I don't want depth of field on, I want that off. But you want my game to look really sharp. I'm a content creator, make content for you guys. I want it to look good. Now, if you want more frames, you can lower all of these, but I keep mine on with the 5090 on high. Now, keep in mind, the lower you lower these, the game won't look as good, but it will run smoother. So choose, kind of pick your poison here. These are the ones that I run based upon my setup. So I run high, ultra, high, bullet impacts on, persistent effects on, shader quality high, local texture streaming quality default, in-game video quality I put that as low. I don't need all that. Shadow quality ultra, screen space resolution high, ultra, high. Environment very high, ultra, and then all. Like I said, this is a 5090. I can do that. You probably want to lower your settings to what looks best on your screen. Now, if you're on a TV or a monitor, you're gonna know what looks best. Play with these settings. Start at the highest and see how your game runs, and then lower it down as you need to make adjustments. Obviously, you want it to look great, but if it doesn't look great, or if it looks great but runs slow, that means you want to lower them down so it runs a little bit smoother. You're not getting choppiness. All right, now we're gonna go into audio. A couple things on audio you're gonna want to check. Now you're gonna want to go into audio. Master game volume, I keep it 100. Gameplay music, I turn that down because I don't need any music going on in back of my headphones in multiplayer. Now you can turn this back up if you want to use it for the cinematic for the campaign. That makes total sense. It'll sound great. Dialogue volume, I turn that down when I'm playing multiplayer. I turn it all the way to 0. I don't need any of that. Effects volume 100, and then cinematic music, I don't need that at all too. I turn that down to 100. You don't want any distractions. So like 100, 0, 0, 100, 0. Now, if I'm going to be doing it with the campaign, I'm going to turn that up because I want the dialogue, I want the gameplay music, I want the cinematic. So you got to kind of make those choices of what you're playing for that point. Obviously stereo, I turn on the enhanced headphone mode because I've used it before and it works great. If you have it, you can configure it. So far, looking at all of these, and they change every year. I was a normal Sucker Punch guy with BO6 and Warzone. I like the Treyarch mix. Or the Treyarch mix. I was using it all day. And going it back between Sucker Punch and Treyarch, I like Treyarch, so I would recommend Treyarch. I mute all this stuff just because I don't want any, copyright infringement. And then obviously I turn on reduce sound here, and hit markers, I want classic. I like the way that sounds. Now we're gonna go into interface. A couple things in here. You wanna go over until the readability piece, and you wanna make sure these are all changed over for you. So go to color customization. Now what I do is I'm colorblind. You may not be, but if you want, you might want to do this if you're not colorblind. But what I do is I like to go in and I do filter 2 on the color filter. I do it for the whole, both world and interface. I turn it up all the way to 100 because I want my game to be poppy and real easy to see, especially with enemies. Now, what you can do if you're colorblind like me is you could change all to one of these. But what I like to do is I change my color of my enemies so I can see. So like my party is green and my enemies are red. I'm not very good with the greens. So then on my own party, I'll go in and change the color to like a blue because and hopefully that's blue. What I see is blue. And then it makes it a little bit easier to see. You just want your game to be fresh, colorful, bright, and vibrant. And the more you can see, the more you can kill, which makes it so much easier. All right, now gameplay HUD. Now, I don't bring my map in or anything like that, but you want to come down and you want to go to your crosshair lines, okay? And then you want to make sure the spread is on, and then your dot. You want to make sure crosshair dot is going to be largest, okay? That gives you a good way of seeing it. Then change from the white background that you see here and change it to a color that is going to be bright and easy to see. Now, again, I'm colorblind, but I like it to be on like a bright yellow. You know, I think that's the right color. I want like a bright yellow on my screen, so I can see the enemies a little bit better. So I turn that hue to like yellowish, and then I turn the saturation all the way up, brightness all the way up, and then we hit apply. And now it's gonna do that. So it makes it just a little bit easier to see when you're aiming at enemies. All right, and that's what I do for my settings, guys. I think that's gonna work out great for you. Again, try them out. I know you're just getting off of work and school. Hit these settings up, make sure they work well for you. And hey, if you want more Black Ops 7 content, I got 2 videos for you right here, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.